Track baby, track another one. Duse M, jump on it, jump on it. Jump on it, jump on it. Ride it like
Jump on it, ride it like Jockey. The hell smoking that loud, lace the yak with mouth. Make your mama proud, popping it like shot. Turn up, it's a gangster party.
Ain't never popped a Molly, but if I ever catch Mac, I'ma pop a Holly. I don't even rob a cop the Harley. Blowing so much green, I shame Marley. Yeah, I push the line to its full limit. Hit the hole like 22, boy, I'm a young Emmett. Nothing go like snow, now that's a cold image. Still whistling, sending, knocking them white women. Only reason I do it to avenge image. To the day they go for it, they box me out. Knowing me, it don't matter, I simply take my route. On my hobby.
Where's. Welcome to the Damu Kiwe Conversations, home of the West Coast, the voice of coaching. Duse M's the done. Good evening to everybody. Family, this is LaMonte, Duse M Senior, and welcome to the Damu Kiwe Conversations. Tonight, we're going to talk about something that is bigger than politics. We're going to talk about safety. We're going to talk about constitutional rights. We're going to talk about civil rights. We're going to talk about emergency preparedness. And most importantly, we're going to talk about what it means for Black communities to organize, prepare, and protect our families through lawful, disciplined, community-based actions. This discussion is not about fear. It is about awareness. It is about security. It is about responsibility. It is about ensuring that our children inherit stronger, safer, and more economically empowered communities. We're going to start off with Chud the Builder incident, right? So for those who haven't seen it, I guess we'll go ahead and go right into it, right? Let's get right into this. You know what I'm saying? So Chud the Builder been going around antagonizing, trying to provoke Black folk to doing something all alone. He's trying to ambush him because he's got some kind of weapon. He pepper sprayed a woman. You know what I'm saying? So Chud the Builder has been charged with attempted hot one, aggravated assault, reckless endangerment, and employing a firearm after shooting a man and nearly unaliving him. He was known for going around calling Black people the N-word. Montgomery County Sheriff's Office, Tennessee. Suspect in shooting incident outside Montgomery County Courthouse arrested. Montgomery County Sheriff's Office news release Wednesday, May 13th, 2026 for immediate release. Rest in peace, little killer Jess Loco Jess. His birthday just passed. Happy heavenly birthday, my dog. Suspect in shooting incident outside Montgomery County Courthouse arrested. Clarksville, Montgomery County, Tennessee. Earlier today, law enforcement officers responded to shots fired incident outside the Montgomery. Let me fix this audio a little bit. That's a little bit better. The Montgomery County Sheriff's Office immediately launched an investigation into the incident. As a result of the investigation, Dalton Etherly, 28, was detained by criminal investigators and charged with criminal attempt, hot one, employing a firearm during dangerous felony, aggravated assault, and reckless endangerment with a deadly weapon. Etherly was booked into the Montgomery County Jail where he is being held pending arraignment, at which time bond will be set. Sheriff Fusen stated, "It's unfortunate that incidents like this are happening in our community. This kind of violence won't be tolerated, and our office will work to make sure those responsible are held accountable to the fullest extent of the law. So the government gets money from taxpayers and locks him up after he done already shot and tried to unalive an innocent black man who he more than likely provoked. He said he walked up to him. You know what I'm saying? So we definitely gonna get it. He chimped out. You know what I'm saying? He's chimping out. Chimp. He's so ignorant. You know what I'm saying? But talking about chimps, we come from chimps. No, Neanderthal blood is closer to monkeys than the original Homo sapiens sapiens. So Chud the Builder. So Chud the Builder was going around. I think I got another video of him. Let me pull that up. You know what I'm saying? On this same incident. You know what I'm saying? I think it's a better excuse me. So we're gonna stop sharing that one, and we're gonna go ahead and go on over to this other one, right? Nasty work, man. So this ignorant person who obviously believes blacks are related to monkeys,
courthouse, authorities said. The shooting happened as Dalton Etherly, who goes by Chud the Builder online, and the man were outside the Montgomery County Courthouse in Clarksville, the Tennessee District Attorney General's office said. Both men were taken for medical treatment. Etherly live streamed himself speaking to first responders after the incident. During the live stream, Etherly could be heard saying he shot the man in self-defense after Etherly claimed he was attacked.
He hit me, started wailing on me, even after I had to defend myself by shooting him. He's still wailing on me.
As he spoke with the first responders, he asked if he also shot himself when he opened fire. Etherly was then taken away on a stretcher with a bandage on his arm. He reportedly was treated at a Clarksville hospital. Clarksville Now reported the victim was taken by helicopter to a Nashville hospital and is in stable condition. Etherly regularly posts videos of himself using racial slurs and getting into confrontations. He has gained over 200,000 followers on X.
Be a good boy. You heard me.
In a separate incident a few days prior, Etherly was kicked out of a restaurant and arrested in Nashville on charges of theft of services, disorderly conduct, and resisting arrest. Etherly was granted release for the incident on a $5,000 bond, according to a judge's order. A live streamer known for posting racist videos is in custody after he said he shot a man after a confrontation in front of a Tennessee courthouse, authorities said. The shooting happened as Dalton Etherly, who goes by Chud the Builder online, and the man were outside the Montgomery County Courthouse in Clarksville, the Tennessee District Attorney General's office said. Both men were taken for medical treatment. Etherly live streamed himself speaking to first responders after the incident. During the live stream, Etherly could be heard saying he shot the man in self-defense after Etherly claimed he was attacked.
He hit me, started wailing on me, even after I had to defend myself by shooting him. He's still wailing on me.
As he spoke with the first responders, he asked if he also shot himself when he opened fire. Etherly was then taken away on a stretcher with a bandage on his arm. He reportedly was treated at a Clarksville hospital. Clarksville Now reported the victim was taken by helicopter to a Nashville hospital and is in stable condition.
So there you go. Chud the Builder. Another racist piece of shit, right? So this online content creator goes around spewing racial epithets, trying to provoke black men or black people to react. He purposely disrespects, knowing that brothers is known for throwing them things and can beat them up, to justify him unaliving a brother. Imagine how powerful and feared black men are, that this man's only cause in life was to take at least one of our lives. That sounds like insecurity. That sounds like jealousy. Sounds like hate. This was a hate crime. So he tries to escalate behavior, and this time it actually did escalate to gunfire. Whatever one thinks about individuals involved, the incident highlights several hard truths. First, the words spoke matter. Second, provocation can escalate quickly. Third, ordinary people can find themselves in life-changing situations in a matter of seconds. Fourth, communities must think seriously about prevention, situational awareness, and lawful self-protection. When we see incidents where racial hostility appears to be part of the context, many Black Americans ask a fundamental question. Are our communities even prepared for this? Prepared doesn't mean looking for the conflict. Prepared means being informed, being organized, being vigilant, being legally educated, being emotionally disciplined, being economically stable, being ready to safeguard our families. This is what tonight's segment is all about. You could go back as far as the history of this government goes in the Americas and find terror through the Ku Klux Klan, the slave catchers, the police, which is modern day police, right? It's been a long history of racial terror. Don't have to imagine what racial violence and terror looks like. Our history is filled with it. From slavery to the era of lynching to the burning of crosses, churches in our communities. The bombing of the 16th Street Baptist Church to the destruction of Tulsa's Greenwood District, Black Wall Street, to attacks on churches, grocery stores, and community gathering spaces. This is not ancient history. This is Americans' history. And the lesson of history is clear. Communities that organize, educate, and build institutions are better. They're better positioned to survive and to thrive. Our ancestors created mutual aid societies, churches, schools, businesses, political organizations, self-help networks. They built systems of support when existing institutions failed them. That same spirit is needed again today. The police came, but by that time, the brother had already been shot. Police come after the crime happened. I think our people are the only ones that can't in their mind understand that the police don't come until after the racial violence has already been done. So we need to have preventative measures in our communities. We need to organize in our neighborhoods with neighborhood watches. We need to communicate in our neighborhoods when we see people who might not necessarily belong in our inner city communities across the nation. You got to patrol the set. All the Crips, all the Bloods. Ain't that what y'all learned from the earliest stages of your membership? Well, now you're not doing it for somebody that look like you. You're doing it for somebody who's targeted those that look like you. And these cowards usually go for soft targets. Remember the Buffalo shooting where the guy had the swastika on the AK? Here's your reparations. And he unalived somebody's grandmother. Unarmed, non-threatening grandmother. Cowards go for soft targets. They're not finna pull up on the block. Get that out your head. So when you see people who are in your community, like Chud the Builder, starting issues, it's time to pop out and show up, show out. Show up and show out. We need to have group chats, communicating. Hey, it's this European-looking dude or the Spanish-looking dude by the local high school with ourselves. Police our own community. These police don't have our best interests, never have, never would. They're slave catchers. Their whole organization was started to hunt down and keep us under the boot of white supremacy. Besides that, y'all haven't been seeing what's going on with these cops. But before we get to, let's go to this, right? Let's go to this. Since y'all thinking calling 911 after, how you gonna call the police when you already alive because you was black?
His head onto the ground. But don't you call them pigs. They got guns drawn on a guy. Code red, lights, sirens. His hands were up like this a moment ago. We see the look on his face right now. He's absolutely being horrified. Look at him. He's just like a drone. He just completely and utterly believes that this is his job to bash your window open so that they can get you for whatever crime they're saying you did. He's going to grab him by the back of the shirt, just rip him out like he's a rat in a hole.
Hey, that's abuse.
Put a one in the chat if that is some straight up abuse.
Hey, that's abuse. That's abuse. I got it on tape.
And it's not because he's black, okay? Don't you dare say it was because he was black. Don't you say that. Don't be a race baiter.
Hey.
He literally tried to slam the back of his head onto the ground.
Those are the people that you're going to call to protect you. See, you Negroes wanted to assimilate, and you're so submissive to white supremacy, to capitalism, that you agree that all of the wolves should be locked up. Get the gangbangers off the street. Get the drug dealers off the street. We don't need them in our communities. And you put your security and the security of your children, your family, in the hands of these people, the slave catchers. Well, there's so many wolves that have passed away. There's so many wolves that's behind the G-wall. You think they don't know that y'all are sheep? You think that they don't know that majority of y'all ain't gonna break a crayon in a preschool ride? Oh, they know. They study us. It's their job. And it's going to continue to get worse and worse. Because just like Chud the Builder, your presence make these people uncomfortable, insecure, intimidated because of your natural dominance. Listen to this.
Watch out the way, man. Watch out the way, man.
Hey, y'all need to stop, man. Y'all need to stop, man. I got it. You can't put your hands on him, bro.
That's it, right? Put your fucking phone. Let me go, man. 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 Let me go, man.
Hey, y'all need to stop, yo.
Dude, please, man. I'm begging you, please. I'm begging you, please, man. Dude, I'm begging you. I told you. Stupid ass. You gotta fucking drop this shit now. Go ahead on, man. Watch out the way, man. Watch out the way, man.
Hey, y'all need to stop, man. Y'all need to stop, man. I got it. You can't put your hands on him, bro.
That's it, right? Put your fucking phone. Let me go, man. 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 Let me go, man.
Hey, y'all need to stop, yo.
Dude, please, man. I'm begging you, please. I'm begging you, please, man. Dude, I'm begging you.
That's a can of fuck around and find out. Rightfully so. See, it's a psychological deficiency when someone feels that they have to continue to keep you down so that they can feel superior. And that white superiority complex, it exudes out of their skin pores in everyday life, every single day, in different ways. That was at work. He told him, get to work and put his hands on him like he was a slave. But they know they're dealing with a lot of you sheep who ain't never stood for nothing. Let's get to this sister with her kids. We're going to watch this one again because this one hurt me more than some of the others. So a white couple saw a black woman with her children at a hotel and decided she wasn't supposed to be there. A mother relaxing hotel stay with her children allegedly turned into a humiliating confrontation after a white couple approached her and questioned whether she actually belonged on the property. In the video, the visibly uncomfortable mother can be heard asking to be left alone while explaining that she and her children were legitimate guests at the resort. According to the mother, the incident became so upsetting that management eventually moved her family to another unit. She also says she filed a formal complaint with the resort's executive committee and reported the incident to the police. You make these people uncomfortable. You are a reminder to them of the evil energy they're known to spew. The energy that they put out into this universe. The doer of evil. Devil. You're a reminder of that. So many sisters talk about niggas ain't shit. I don't need a man and all this independent shit. Oh, stay your independent ass over there. Police came or were called after the incident. Thank God the sister and her kids didn't go through the violence that usually accompanies such hate. Let's get to the next video. Oh yeah, this is America. I'm hoping y'all wise enough to wake up. If not, and if we can't unify, we done.
The coroner, Renee Godwin, denied an inquest under the 45-16-27 despite her acknowledging discrepancies and despite stating on record that her own opinion and the own medical review did not align with the clean self-defense.
Ms. Mitchell.
These are not emotional statements. These are facts.
Mitchell.
On December 2nd, I filed a petition with the writ mandamus OCGA 9-6-20 seeking to compel public officials to perform their duties. No, my time is not up. You guys are elected officials.
Your time
on November
is up.
6th.
Your time is up.
You will not be. I don't do it. What?
Your time is up, please.
Okay, I can finish.
Your time.
I can finish. Thank you. Like I said, you will be voted upon November 2026. So don't vote because it's no answers. Look how they're coming up for me just because I'm speaking up for justice for my son. But y'all didn't want to arrest the killer. What are you doing? What?
And look, it's always a nigga that go out the way to prove their loyalty to the slave master.
What are you doing?
Look.
What?
See, all skin folks ain't kin folks. This is a woman seeking justice in America for her son that was slain. And they don't have the wherewithal after the son was slain to find the culprits, arrest the culprits, and bring them to justice. They don't even have the wherewithal after the fact. This is when you're going to call the police after your son is slain or shot. And this is how they think about your children. Look how they treating this woman, and you can't say that, oh, it's whites. No, they're all behind the blue wall of that badge, of that shield. They don't see things in color. That's already embedded. The hierarchy's already been set. We're at the bottom of the economic pyramid as a whole, collectively. But this is what they think about you. So let's everybody always talking about how you going to call the police. How is that going to help you? Right? So let's go to this one. Heated confrontation. Nasty work. Nasty work. This is America. This is my timeline just yesterday.
No, you're black. You're black. What does that mean? Oh my God.
You're black.
What does black have to do with anything? What does being black have to do with anything?
Few moments ago.
No, you're black. You're black. What does that mean? Oh my God. What does black have to do with anything? What does being black have to do with anything?
And that's the bar. If in this situation, you're faced with that exact same thing, and you don't do the exact same thing, you're a bitch, you're a pussy, and within the next 20 to 30 years, your children will be slaves because you didn't have the courage to stand for nothing. You allowed this to become the norm, which is what they're trying to do right now. This is what they're trying to do. They're trying to normalize this treatment as if we're our ancestors. Respectfully, I think you're wrong about us being our ancestors. I believe we got a whole lot more fight than you think we do. Let's get to this next video, right? Because this is what's on the minds of law enforcement and these people who are intimidated and recognize the inferiority to us. Breaking news. Former cop arrested plotting a Jazz Fest massacre. Wanted to kill as many black people as possible. This is what's going on. On Wednesday, April 23rd, former cop Christopher Gilliam was arrested before he could carry out a mass shooting at the New Orleans Jazz Fest. Law enforcement stopped him at the Florida hotel with a gun and 200 rounds of ammunition. His own family tipped off authorities after he told them he wanted to kill as many black people as possible. This is what we're up against. A former officer, someone sworn to protect and serve, allegedly planning a massacre targeting our community at a cultural celebration. He's now in custody facing terroristic threat charges, but let's be clear, this hatred doesn't exist in a vacuum. It's cultivated, it's enabled, and too often protected by the very system that should root it out. I think this right here is the most powerful statement that could be made. I can't match it. Because the system enables Chud the Builder. The system enables the police to, like Gilliam, to treat our people as if they're animals, second-class citizens, unalive and unarmed U.S. citizens in certain communities, primarily Black and Latino, lower to middle-class communities. They're not going to go do that in the richer communities, right? To normalize taking their rights, they don't exist, and protecting them. They enabled this cop. And he had 200 rounds going to a jazz fest to unalive as many innocent black people as he could. Why is this seem like a consistent agenda? Why isn't it a war on white supremacy extremism the way it was a war on drugs, the way it was a war on gangs? What's different? Yeah, this is what we're talking about. Y'all think and y'all comfortable with this? Y'all just gonna sit back and allow them to do our children, treat our children with not only a lack of respect. Look at this.
Get off my brother!
Stay back.
Get off!
Stay back.
Yeah.
She's fucking late. Get back. I got it. I got the handcuffs. I got the radio. Put your hand over. Put your hand over. Come on, come on. It's over. It's over. Put your hand back. It's over. Oh, no. It's okay. Let's get her up. Her phone's down there. I think the mollies are open. Yep. You good? Come on.
Always fuck 12. Fuck these niggas.
Come on, honey. Come on, come on.
Bring it to my brother.
Militarized police.
My man, you better turn the other way and walk.
He's gone. Don't touch him.
Go. Start going now. Go, man. Go.
Don't touch her. Get off my brother!
Stay back.
Get off!
Stay back.
Yeah.
She's fucking late. Get back.
This is ultra disturbing. See, let me take y'all back a little bit, right? During the war on gangs, police went from having Saturday night specials, the 38 specials and all of this stuff, to carrying Glocks. Then after the North Hollywood bank robbery in Los Angeles, in Hollywood, they said, we need artillery that can match what the gang members and the criminals have. So now you have an ultra militarized law enforcement, ultra militarized slave catcher. And it was fine and daddy when the rabbit had the gun, right? Long as they turned them on those niggas that y'all resented within the community. The ones that got all the girls, the ones that were alphas, dominant, that made you look at your weaknesses, expose your lack of manhood, your lack of courage. Get them niggas in jail, fuck them, lock them away, throw the key away. All along, they were playing Fox. They were securing and securing the future control of this nation so that they could do what the fuck they want to, and knowing that majority of y'all are going to call them because you believe they're on your side, that their interest is to protect you, right? To secure your rights, right? Fuck out of here. Y'all so fucking slow, straight sheep, right? Let's go here. This is just yesterday. You know what I'm saying? This is my timeline from yesterday. I got to get ready to go to work in a minute, but Let me take y'all.
I literally did.
Your women, your children.
Now, the video you see right now is from former police officer Daniel Wilson, showing him putting force on Victoria Lang's neck after dragging her outside the McDonald's bathroom last August.
5 videos from that day in August are available to the public now.
2 of the videos are body cam footage from former Officer Wilson.
Ma'am? Do you have ID on you? No.
August 26th of last year, former Wichita Falls police officers Daniel Wilson and Douglas Gully responded to a call about a person in the bathroom of the McDonald's on Holiday Street who was refusing to leave. Records show Lang refused to identify herself or provide identification.
Wilson and Gully carried her out of the restroom and restaurant, and in the video, the two did not give verbal commands to get up, and Wilson picked her up by the feet and Gully up by her handcuffs. Once outside, Lang still refused to walk with the officers. Wilson grabbed her ankles and dragged her across the parking lot to a squad car.
In the video, Wilson twisted Lang's legs into a figure 4, trying to turn Lang on her stomach. No verbal commands were given by Wilson. The 2 officers lifted Lang up and pushed her into the back of the car in a prone position. The body cam footage from the arrest to the Wichita County Jail is about 20 minutes long.
A suspension letter released by the city on April 7th called the actions of Wilson, quote, unreasonable, unnecessary, and excessive.
This is how they treat our teenagers, our youth, our children. And you cowards ain't not one of y'all prepared to stand up against it. Just keep going on. Going to work. I gotta take care of me and my family. Shit. Until it is your family. Till you're the mother that's in that court talking about her son being unalive. Till you're the parent of that little girl whose brother was snatched up by those police. And he said, don't touch my little sister because they're pushing and manhandling a kid. You can't abuse or put your hand on your own kids. But the police are well within their right to treat these teenagers and your kids in this manner. You're not going to do nothing. You don't have the courage. You don't have the organizational skills. They segmented and divided us mentally with Willie Lynch syndrome, with self-hate. And any time, whether it was the Nation of Islam, Marcus Garvey, the Black Panther Party, the Crips, the Bloods, the GDs, the BDs, Four Corner Hustlers, Travelers, Blackstones, whatever we organized, we were targeted. They need to keep us singular. Because united we stand and divided we fall. Not only have they got rid of all the big bad wolves, they know that y'all have no unity and no organization, no organizational skills. So there is not an organized front to deter this type of behavior to our kids. But I'm just going to call the police. Y'all going to call the slave catchers after the crime happened, after you've already been slain, after your kids are at this jazz festival and are slaughtered. That ain't going to bring them back alive, bro. Let's get to this one, right? Let's get to this one. LAPD's best anti-gang unit shut down. Officers investigated for turning off their body cam. LAPD has temporarily disbanded a South LA anti-gang unit whose members are accused of turning off their body-worn cameras during traffic stops. Police officials announced the move Tuesday as the department's civilian watchdogs requested a review of behavior by all gang enforcement units citywide. Members of the 77th Street Division's specialized gang detail came under internal investigation in recent months for failing to activate their body-worn cameras and pulling people over without documenting interactions. We take this very, very seriously, which is why the entire unit is stood down. Stood down for how long? Right? This is so nasty. This is who you calling to save you against radical white supremacist terrorists. Good luck. If that's where your faith is going, let's go to Riverside. Claiming you from Compton, but you moved to Riverside. You know what I'm saying? Let's go to Riverside. Look at this. So this is a Mexican sheriff officer in Riverside. Look. Mishandling a child.
Students don't have rights. Kids don't have rights. I was responsible for my kids. My kids didn't have rights. From a law enforcement perspective.
Kids have rights, really?
Kids, parents are responsible for their children. Are you going to say that they're not? Well,
I think it's both.
Does any child that small need to be handcuffed?
Yes.
Riverside County Sheriff Chad Bianco told us last year that no one can fairly assess that need with one piece of video, one snapshot, one perspective.
See, at one point, this deputy puts his knee on his back.
But he also said he'd seen enough to know what happened here.
On that video, I saw nothing that would cause me as the sheriff or the leader of deputies that could have been handling that would have caused me an issue and said, oh my gosh, what are you doing?
Are your deputies racist?
Absolutely, unequivocally, no.
And the sheriff disagreed with the attorney's own statistics that had said this issue was even bigger.
Do you think that's possible?
That is a disingenuous attorney that has done everything she possibly could to find a statistic that could make everyone say, oh my gosh, the racist cops. Oh my gosh, the racist cops.
It's a defensive response, I think, to, not want to face the facts and really answer up to what's really happening.
That sheriff had just watched the video that you watched.
Yeah, he should be fired. He can try to explain it off any way that he want to, but the facts is still going to be the facts.
Look how he doing this little girl. Slammed her head into the brick wall. A little girl. Handcuffed her. So, Chad Bianco is the Riverside County Sheriff Deputy. And he's the head of the sheriff deputies. And this is how he feels. There's nothing wrong with this. If you did that to your kids, Child Protective Services will come take your kids away from you. Handcuff them and throw their head into a brick wall. A little girl, frail. She couldn't be no more than 11 years old. Handcuffed. And you're not going to do nothing. That's why I keep coming. If I slap you today and you turn the other cheek and I slap you again and you still don't do nothing, what's going to stop me from slapping you tomorrow? And the next day. And the next day. And the next day. There's an agenda going on. And y'all is over here talking about CS2 back. That's what the fuck y'all want to hear. About this house nigga, Sambo, rat ass nigga. Look at this shit. There's an agenda going down. Let's go.
Around African American history and the kinship of Black Americans. His thesis is on the transatlantic slave trade and the kinship of African Americans. Do you know who he is? This is Kevin Roberts. This is Kevin Roberts. This is Project 2025. And I need us to connect the dots. A man who built his academic journey from his bachelor's to his master's to his PhD to studying African American history and the kinship of African Americans, put together Project 2025, which means he studied us, he understood our history, and then he took that, wrote a thesis about it, and built Project 2025 to disenfranchise us. He literally used our own history against us. So what you are seeing with the rolling back of rights, targeting DEI, firing over 600,000 Black women, what you are seeing is very much so intention. The dedication it takes for you to start in the 90s of studying Black people only to disenfranchise them almost 30 years later. Matter of fact, it is 30 years later. That is the long game this man has played.
Now you believe that there's an agenda going? And guess who's the butt of the joke? Guess who's the butt of the joke? The only ones that don't realize what's going on, that still believe that this country is created equal. We got a couple more videos and then I'm gonna end this, right? It's almost an hour. We're gonna try to keep it there. Let's go.
Get the license plate. Get the license plate. Now, you were never about to hit me with the damn car. You about to hit me with the car? Oh, okay? Call Richard back up to the police. Call Richard back up here now.
Call the police. It's a gun on you, and you talk about call the police. This is how stupid you niggas is. It's a gun on you by obviously racist Karen, and you talking about call the police. She could pull the trigger any minute. By the time the police get there, you're going to be dead. Listen to this lady keep it 100 about how stupid y'all is. Let's go, man.
Trump making it real comfortable. Call the police. No, don't go anywhere. Call the police. 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 You about to hit me with the car.
Fuck your feelings, because that ain't going to protect you and your family. You give up your Second Amendment rights, or you continue to tell people that they don't need guns to survive in this fucking country. This is what's going to happen to you. Some crazy ass white bitch who has no control over herself is going to be at the end of that. You on the other end, and she's fueled by fear and white supremacy. And remember, these motherfuckers are armed too, from their 7-year-old up to their 97-year-old grandmother. Everybody's armed. The only ones that are not going to be armed are you dumbasses in your feelings, saying that we don't need those things to survive. The fuck we don't. The fuck we don't. Let me tell you what your feelings are going to do. Your feelings are going to get you and your family killed. That's the fuck your feelings are going to do.
Facts.
She got the gun on me. She got the gun on me. Get the gun. Hold on. I'm telling you. Get the license plate. Get the license plate. Now. You were never about to hit me with the damn car. You about to hit me with the car? Don't you put the gun on me, okay? Call Richard back up to the police. Call Richard back up here now. You fucking jump behind me. No, I ain't jumping on your car. I was looking. You fucking looking.
You're complaining, you're crying because you're not prepared for the fuck shit that everyday life in America got for somebody that looks like you. You failed as a mother. You failed as an auntie. And you lucky that you're still alive today. Because I could see it in her eyes. That woman was fucking crazy. She was looking to unalive a black person. All you had to do was give her the reason. And she was going to do it. Let's get to this real quick. I guess I couldn't tell you. Maybe y'all so mentally enslaved to white people. Maybe that white lady. Maybe listen to these white
Americans specifically. Even being terrible at what they're doing has still proven to be disastrous for our country. And it is in part the posturing and from the White House and the president. That is stuff that validates and excites the worst bigots in the country. And that is consequential. But it's more than that too. We are now about 16 months into what has been from day one a concerted and intense targeting of Black Americans, specifically by this president and by this administration. On his first full day in office, he proclaims war on diversity efforts, not only in government, but in any institution in the country over which he can exert leverage, everything from schools and universities to law firms to private businesses of every stripe. He then immediately started firing some of the highest profile Black public officials in the whole U.S. government, seemingly regardless of any other thing about them. I mean, right away, we get the firing of the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Charles C.Q. Brown. We get the firing of the Librarian of Congress, Carla Hayden. And then it's Gwynne Wilcox from the National Labor Relations Board. And then it's Robert Primus, the chair of the Surface Transportation Board. And then it's Alvin Brown from the NTSB. And then it's Peggy Carr, the head of the National Center for Education Statistics. And then it's Willie Phillips from FERC, from the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission. And then it's Lisa Cook from the Federal Reserve Board of Governors, and on and on and on. When Trump and his top political donor, Elon Musk, then started just lopping off huge swaths of the federal government to disastrous practical effect, the largest and most egregious cuts targeted federal agencies that employed a disproportionate number of Black employees.
I wish for one election that every Black person would vote Republican.
Reporter Erica Green wrote about this a few months ago for The Times, noting that nothing had moved backwards in the federal government for Black Americans this quickly or this far in over 100 years, since Woodrow Wilson came in 1912 and resegregated the federal workforce.
I wish for one election that every Black person would vote Republican.
Quote, Black employees were fired or demoted to lower level jobs, relegated to separate and inferior lunchrooms and other facilities, and accused of making white women feel unsafe. Those who remained were humiliated. A Black worker in the Postal Service was surrounded by screens so white workers would not have to look at him. Another employee had a cage built around him to separate him from his white counterparts. A clerk in the Treasury Secretary's office was assigned to rewrite all correspondence to address Black employees by their first names.
This is the America that y'all are accepting. Yeah. I think it might be one more video. Oh, yeah. The agenda. Last video, then I'm going to take y'all out.
Yeah, and gives us a chance at all. If we get some reprieve from courts, and so we'll see how that goes, and certainly hope that the Supreme Court will overturn Amendment 14 and gives us a shot to revisit those.
What would you say from your perspective? I mean, other than Mr. Pro Tem,
they want to overturn the 14th Amendment of the Constitution. The amendment that is essentially ended slavery as they knew it in America, in the United States. Ratified in 1868, is one of the most important amendments in American history. It guarantees citizenship, due process, equal protection under the law, and it was adopted after the Civil War to ensure that formerly enslaved people would be recognized as full citizens. Without the 14th Amendment, many landmark civil rights victories would not have been possible. These protections have supported cases involving school desegregation, voting rights, equal access to justice, marriage rights, fair treatment under state law. When politicians call for narrowing the meaning of the parts of the 14th Amendment, it's easy for people to see that this is a warning sign, because constitutional rights are only meaningful if they are respected and consistently enforced. Why the 14th Amendment? Debate concerns many communities. The debate over birthright citizenship has raised larger questions. But to me, I believe that they're trying to open the door to changing the 14th Amendment based on birthright citizenship and immigration. But once that door is open, they can always go in and out that room. You understand what I'm saying? And change amendments that were guaranteed, that our people fought for. Rights in this country. Equal rights. What was once a guarantee constitutionally will be made subjective. And guess who's going to be the judge, jury, and executor? Those in power in this country. If long-standing constitutional interpretations can be reconsidered, what other rights may become vulnerable? That question concerns many Americans, especially communities that historically relied on constitutional protections to challenge discrimination. The point is not panic. The point is vigilance. The Constitution is strongest when citizens understand it and demand that it guarantees apply equally to everyone. Let's talk about the hantavirus and emergency readiness. Recent news about the hantavirus outbreak linked to a cruise ship has reminded many people how quickly health concerns can capture public attention. At the time of this broadcast, public health agencies have stated that the risk to the general public remains low. But the broader lesson remains. Every household should maintain a basic emergency plan. Preparedness is common sense. Every family should consider keeping drinking water, shelf-stable food, prescription medications, first aid supplies, flashlights, batteries, portable radios, hygiene products, important documents, backup chargers. Preparedness is not paranoia. It is responsible planning. So I know it was kind of off subject for me to go to the hantavirus, but I believe this agenda in itself is all tied into the exact same thing. Let me show y'all this. Levi, you down there snoring? CDC declares emergency response to hantavirus outbreak after at least 5 U.S. states began monitoring for possible cases. The Centers for Disease Control, CDC, and Prevention has activated its 24/7 emergency center in Atlanta to monitor the recent deadly hantavirus outbreak on a cruise ship. Sources tell CBS. Officials say its center is now operating at a level 3 response. Health officials in Texas, New Jersey, Georgia, California, Virginia, and Arizona are all monitoring people for potential infection cases. So just tell us when the lockdown is, and that's what I believe is coming. They're going to lock this down again, right? And this time, let me get y'all this real quick. Let me get this for y'all real quick, right? This was on the episode of the X-Files, right? This was on an episode of the X-Files. Show y'all this, and then we gonna take y'all out, man.
Spread by field mice in the southwestern United States several years ago.
According to the newspaper, FEMA was called out to manage an outbreak of the hantavirus. Are you familiar with what the Federal Emergency Management Agency's real power is? FEMA allows the White House to suspend constitutional government upon declaration of a national emergency. Think about that. What is an agency with such broad sweeping power doing managing a small viral outbreak in suburban Texas?
You're saying it wasn't such a small outbreak?
No. I'm saying it wasn't the hantavirus.
Well, what was it? What was it?
When we were young men in the military, your father and I were recruited for a project. They told us it was biological warfare or a virus.
What killed those men?
What killed them, I won't even write about. We have no context for what killed those men, or any appreciation of the scale at which it'll be unleashed in the future.
A plague?
Plague to end all plagues, Agent Mulder. A silent weapon for a quiet war. The systematic release of an indiscriminate organism for which the men who will bring it on still have no cure. They've been working on this for 50 years. While the rest of the world have been fighting crooks and commies, these men have been secretly negotiating a planned Armageddon.
Negotiating with whom?
I think you know. The timetable has been set. They'll have him on a holiday when people are away from their homes. The president will declare a state of emergency, at which time all government and all federal agencies will come under the power of the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, the secret government.
Call me paranoid.
Go back to Dallas, Agent Mulder, and dig. Or we're going to find out along with the rest of the country. When it's too late. Are you familiar with the hantavirus, Agent Mulder?
The hantavirus.
Yeah, it was a deadly virus spread by field.
So this is the hantavirus. The same one that we're worried about right now. A plague that I predict will be spread. Didn't say it will spread. I predict it will be spread across the United States and other countries for population control, specifically catered to and tailored to the Black population and Latinos. So can Trump suspend the Constitution? I just heard what he said. I know they say legally he can't do it. When has Trump cared about the law? In fact, he's world renowned to believe he was above the law, to stretch and test the consistency and restraints of justice and the law in civil cases and even SA cases. So many Americans won't worry about emergency powers under the Constitution because they believe the president cannot simply suspend the Constitution. The president cannot cancel the constitutional structure of government. Federal Emergency Management Agency, U.S. disaster response can coordinate disaster response. It cannot take over the legislative and judicial. The judicial branches, the organization, and the U.S. Congress legislative branch of the U.S. still makes laws. Well, what happens when this U.S. Supreme Court has been infiltrated and stolen to push an agenda in unison with Congress to push an agenda and the president of the United States? U.S. federal judiciary still reviews executive actions. The states retain their constitutional authority. The American system contains checks and balances. Good luck with that. The United States has held elections during historical events, the Civil War, 1861, and World War II from 1939 to 45. The influenza pandemic, 1918, and COVID-19 pandemic. So the president cannot unilaterally cancel a presidential election, and the presidential term ends on January 20th under the Constitution. This matters because constitutional continuity is one of the pillars of democracy. Democracy is dead. If you still believe in democracy and all of its hypocrisy, then you just as dumb as all of the sheeps that supported and voted for Trump. Trump has made many different policies, and researchers have argued that certain policy choices can disproportionately affect Black communities. Common areas of concern include cuts to social and educational programs, rollbacks of diversity and inclusion initiatives, aggressive immigration and policing strategies, housing and lending disparities, reduced investment in underserved neighborhoods, changes to voting access, environmental decisions affecting frontline communities. Reasonable people disagree on specific policies, but the broader concern is whether government actions expand opportunity or deepen inequality. That is why civic engagement matters. Civic engagement is supposed to matter. But if you watch and you haven't heard me yelling and hoorahing about the gerrymandering and the switching up of the districts and electoral votes down in the Bible thumping South, these good old Christian politicians in the Bible thumping South want to erase the power of the Black voice when it comes to voting. Your right to vote has already been erased. That's one of the pillars of democracy. That's blasphemy to talk about democracy. Ain't that a bitch? You guys are crazy. The rise of domestic extremism. federal law enforcement and independent researchers repeatedly warn about the threat posed by racially motivated violent extremists. This threat is real. It is not hypothetical. Communities should take that reality seriously. But the answer is not panic. The answer is organization. The answer is preparation. The answer is lawful action. As long as you can stay lawful. But if you got to protect yourself by any means necessary, by God, I pray you have the courage by any means necessary to defend you, your family, and your people. So what does preparation look like? It looks like a household preparedness, several months of food and water. Get that now. Necessary medications, medical kits, backup power, copies of important documents, emergency cash, communication meeting points, neighborhood communication networks, know your constitutional rights, understand emergency procedures, learn CPR and first aid, study de-escalation tactics so that you're well within the law when you defend yourself. Exterior lighting, cameras, strong locks, alarm systems, and lawful self-defense readiness for those who are legally eligible and choose to exercise their rights. Understand all applicable laws as they pertain to you, state laws, and wherever you're at, so that we need you on the front line. We can't have you in jail. So don't put yourself in jail. Right? On another note, you got to communicate. You got to communicate with those in your community. Identify yourself, introduce yourself. Some of your neighbors you don't even talk to, if they look like you, come from the same struggle as you, identify yourself, introduce yourself, let them know your concerns. You have a family and a kid, which is your number one priority, not your job, not going to church. Your number one priority is security of your family. And that if they have the same concerns, you're usually home at this time to this time. You be watching the neighborhood. You got security cameras, and you be watching your security cameras and people through the neighborhood. You're mostly familiar with majority of them. So when things are out of place, you'll continue to communicate with them, get a group text for the community and those on the same type of time you on. If you see they kids and there's some weirdos who shouldn't be in the neighborhood and they're giving them a problem, feel free to intervene and help protect. It takes a village. We are the descendants of survivors. We come from people who endured enslavement. We come from people who built institutions from nothing. We come from the spirit of the Maroons, from the legacy of the Black Seminoles. We come from generations that refuse to surrender their dignity. That legacy should inspire discipline, wisdom, and strategic action. Everything we should do should center around our children, their safety, their education, their mental health, their economic future, their understanding of history, their confidence, their freedom. Our responsibility is to lead them in stronger communities than the ones we inherited. This is a final call to unity. Crips and Bloods, GDs and BDs, Vice Lords, Blackstone Rangers, Four Corner Hustlers, Latin Kings. This is a crossroads, fam. We can remain divided or we can organize. We can remain or we can remain reactive when the police come and pick us up. Or we can prepare. We can remain dependent or we could build. We could remain fearful or we could become disciplined and resilient. The choice is ours. Prepare your household, strengthen your finances, study your rights, build trusted relationships in your community, protect your children, support one another, stay dangerous. We under attack. We've been under attack for hundreds of years since those people came onto our land. But the difference is they didn't know, our ancestors didn't know what they was up against. And knowing is half the battle. We know what we up against. It's a lot going on. It's a lot bigger things than CS2 back. He's a house nigga. He's a coon. He's going to be one of the first to point us out for standing up for our people. That's why I don't fuck with rats. I love y'all. Too black, too strong. Damu Kiwe Conversations.